Yeah, that happened. I'm back again with yet another completely and totally coincidental experience that totally doesn't say anything about my sexual and or romantic attractions. I made another video a little while ago talking about the quote-unquote dream that made me gay, okay? And at the time I thought, yeah, this is the awakening. This is the thing that made me realize I might low-key have a thing for dudes, okay? But then just a few days ago, I had a conversation with a friend who's like totally and completely obsessed with Deltarune, and that conversation made me realize that I had an even earlier awakening, in quotes. I'll get into that though. So, happy Pride Month or something. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So this all happens in like 2021 when Chapter 2 of Deltarune first came out. Okay? Now, as a bit of context, during that time, I was a bit homophobic, okay? Gay people made me very uncomfortable. Now, not really the people per se, it was just kind of like, you know, the thought of them doing the deed with each other, and I don't know. Looking back at it though, I mean, it was probably just allophobia in general, because buzzword alert, I'm asexual. I'm not sure how well that claim is going to stand after I publish this video, but whatever. Okay, but yeah, allophobia. It was also directed towards straight people too, but you know, nonetheless, you know, it's still technically homophobic to at least some degree, okay? So whenever I saw something clearly gay, it was like, my first thought was just to not engage or give it any mind because, you know, being gay is evil or something. And, you know, regardless of what you believe, whether gay is okay or not, I don't really think that mindset is exactly the best way to go about things because it kind of just traps you in a little bubble, but you know, whatever. Before I get into the nitty gritty here, okay, which is about to happen, please excuse the way I'm reciting these events because yes, although all of this is true and everything, I tend to kind of talk in a very jokey manner, so don't pay that any mind. This is just how I cope, okay? If you got a problem with that, then you should take a hike, buddy, alright? I'm freaking emo, and I'm going through a tough time right now. Let me just pour my heart out, okay? In the way that I am comfortable with. Thank you! When playing Chapter 2 of Deltarune, I still definitely felt that way, you know? I was still a certified, slightly fruity homo hater. Still, that didn't quite stop me from playing all the woke indie video games or whatever at the time. So in Chapter 2, there's this part, okay, where you get on a swan boat with Ralsei. Yes, of course this is about Ralsei. Who else? Sure as heck wouldn't have been spammed in. Yucky, yucky, icky, icky, no good. But yeah, you know, once you get on the swan boat with him, it puts you through a series of dialogue with the guy, and then it gives you two options. You have the straight response or the slightly gay response. The straight response is usually just ignoring him or basically just telling him to screw off, and then the gay response, well, oh mama, you just gotta play the game. So when I was playing it, I was sitting completely alone in my room with the door wide open. Now at the time, you know, I was still in a very homophobic mood or whatever, and, you know, I was really hesitant to, you know, select the options that I did. I really wanted to just strictly select the straight options because I wasn't a freaking sissy, okay? I was a man. I still am a man. Present tense. I never stopped being a man. I was kind of thinking to myself, I ain't gay. This is stupid. But nevertheless, I still decided to give in anyways. Really smart on my part. So the first thing Ralsei asks you is how you feel about spending time alone with him, okay? And when responding that spending time alone with Ralsei was nice, Ralsei just kind of looked up and he just looked so shocked and blushy, and as soon as I saw that face, I felt something. Should probably clarify, yes, I felt something down there in particular. Now look, I don't think this was some sort of weird horny feeling or whatever, it was just a sort of wow type of deal, you feel me? I mean look, Ralsei is freaking adorable, so can you really blame me? Come on, come on. Later on, I got to the part where I got my picture taken with Ralsei, and I'm like hugging him or whatever, and oh my gosh, dude. And all I could do was imagine what it would really feel like to hold him in my arms. Think about how soft he would be. I mean, I could kind of even, like, imagine what his voice would sound like, you know? Just even the thought of it just, like, soothed me completely. I just kind of, like, felt like laying in bed and snuggling with him and then, like, interlocking our legs and looking him into the eyes, and then, I just, like, stroke my hand through his fluffy fur, and then I grab him by the waist and pull him in a little bit closer, and then I whimper softly into his ear just to let him know that I love him. Like, /straight, /platonic, #male, whatever, you know what I mean? Okay, look, dude, I would never dream of doing anything to Ralsei. I would never dream of defiling him, okay? He's just too pure and innocent and adorable. Even if he tried to initiate, which would be completely out of character because he just wouldn't, okay? I know for a fact he wouldn't. I feel like I'd still turn him down because I just wouldn't want to ruin him. Okay? He's too perfect. Perfection like that comes once a lifetime. You can't just let it go to waste like that. So, I mean, really, does this even, like, count as gay, per se? I mean, it sure as heck ain't straight, I can tell you that. But, I still don't feel like it's entirely gay, question mark? I mean, I can't even defend myself. I liked Ralsei a lot. Definitely I did. I wanted him to be mine, and for me to be his. That's about as not straight as it gets, bud. I'm starting to realize that my videos have gotten to be like those green text images on 4chan that start with "be me, 100% straight," just for the conclusion every single time to be "I'm not gay, but I kind of like guys," which is okay. I mean, look, it's only low-key though, so it basically like doesn't even count. Whatever. Really though, this whole experience definitely made me start seeing guys in a slightly different light. Okay? Now, I would say that I still feel like the dream I had, the other video I made, definitely was like what really sealed the deal, okay? But what this situation did, what this interaction with Ralsei did for me was that it made me start to be a little bit more accepting of gay people, just in the general sense. It made me feel like it was not like this sort of really weird monstrous thing or whatever. Well, it depends on how you look at it, okay? Not to say I was completely cured of my homophobia. I mean, come on. I'm just too based in Reddit emo incel-core to give up on it completely. But, I did learn a valuable lesson, which is that gay is sometimes okay. Not all the time, but sometimes okay. Kidding, of course. Do what you want, man. I don't freaking care. But I would say, though, that this was, like, the first step to me realizing that, hey, maybe this isn't the worst thing on the planet. And it made me realize that gays are people too. And honestly, that's growth. But whatever, I don't really got any more to say. Moral of the story, there isn't one. Just stay safe out there. I don't really know what the moral would be. Don't play Deltarune Chapter 2 or else you'll turn gay or something. I don't freaking know, dude. Anywho, I gotta mention that I got a Discord server. If you want to come on in, hey, make yourself a home. The water's fine. Additionally, I got a little bit of fan art here for you guys to feast your eyes upon. It's pretty cool. Honestly, some of my favorite stuff of all time. It's really, really nice. Last but not least, I gotta mention that I now have a channel membership now. Yes, Gato Finglo is now a sellout. Kidding. I'm just throwing this out there. If you want to support me a little bit, then you can. It's like $5 a month or something like that. You don't have to, okay? If this is like the first video of mine that you've watched, don't even feel inclined to give me money. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thank you very kindly for embarking on this little homoerotic adventure with me. And yeah, I guess that pretty much sums it up. And I guess I'll see you in the next one. Bye!